If it weren't for that lucky point in 1966, the St Kilda Saints would have been the subject for this video. But while they do have the longest premiership drought in the AFL, I think we should look at the co-runner-up and see how they got there. The AFL is forced to expand its teams because of things out of their control. They already have founded teams in New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, and Western Australia. Unfortunately, the league has a look at this and says it's not enough. There is also the fact that there is a bye, which no team likes. As a result, the AFL looks for a state to place a second team. Despite cries from Port Adelaide, the AFL decides to place a team in Fremantle, and thus, the Fremantle Football Club are born as the Sharks. That are later changed to the Dockers after a fan vote, and Gerald Neesham is named the head coach. As a new club, Fremantle needs some talent to get over the hump. As fortune has it, the West Coast has some good players. Unfortunately, they have to fight with their big brother West Coast for these players, and West Coast are often the first pick for these players, which resulted in West Coast having 2 premierships under their belt, so Fremantle decides to think outside the box. Say, this Andrew McClark is looking good with Port Adelaide, but we haven't seen him play, so let's just ask how tall he is.
A few moments later.
Turns out asking how tall he is didn't turn out well. As a result, he straight up refused to play for you, and you traded him for Port Adelaide for a player that does jack shit. Jesus Christ, you haven't even started playing yet, and you already have an IQ of a 6-year-old. It's draft day, and you have the first and 4th pick of the draft. Oh wait, you traded it away for someone else from Essendon? Oh well, all they get is a compensation pick, while you have Tony Denley. Besides, it's not like the Scott Lucas guy is going to do shit. Well, it's your first season in the league, and it goes just as well as expected. You don't blow the league away and finish with an 8-14 record. For comparison, your big brother West Coast finished with an 11-11 record in their first year. So not good, but hey, it could have been worse. Thankfully, the league wants you to win, and you have the 1st and 3rd selection. That is when your big brother West Coast called you up and said that he will trade David Haynes for your 3rd pick. You accept the deal, and as a result, you get 13 games of suckertude. You also drive Clive Waterhouse #1 over this Matthew Primus guy. Let's see how that pans out. In your sophomore season, you don't improve and you finish with a 7-15 record. You also have the infamous honor of being the last team ever to lose to Fitzroy. That is all I have to say.
You're pathetic, you know that.
You actually improve your record from last year and have a 10-11 record. Heck, Brisbane just lost to big brother West Coast. All you have to do is beat the last place Melbourne Demons and you're on your way to a final. What do you mean you shit the bed against Melbourne? For fuck's sake, they're the worst team in the competition by a country mile! Ugh. Now watch the newly formed Brisbane Lions make the finals in their first year. As if that wasn't bad enough on you, you now get to watch that Andrew McClark guy you blew the chance of getting win a premiership with Adelaide. And he wins the Norm Smith medal, like adding salt on an open wound. That saltiness results in a regression of form next year. You go 7-15 and Gerald Neesham is sacked because he thinks he's playing water polo. The only reason you don't finish with the wooden spoon is because Brisbane is having the season from hell. And as if finishing 2nd place in the Worst Dress Show contest wasn't bad enough, you now get to watch Adelaide win another premiership. And Andrew McLeod again wins the Norm Smith medal. Seeing Adelaide winning 2 premierships in a row wakes you the fuck up and you look for some talent to steal from them, like Tony Mudra, the person who led them to their first grand final win, while completely ignoring the fact that he was injured before he played in the 97 grand final and he was so worthless and terrible in 1998 he wasn't even selected for the grand final, but this should lead to glorious success! With Justin Longmire picked at number 2, you will be marching to the finals through the beat of Damien Drum's drum. Unfortunately, that drum leaves you off a cliff. You finish 5-17 in what is your worst season of your existence so far. Things get so bad that your players start kicking balls to the umpire. But, like last year, you don't finish last because Collingwood got the Y2K bug in what is one of only 2 years Australian happiness was at 100%. Finishing 2nd last means you get a priority pick, which you use on Paul Halsbury. And with the 4th pick of the draft, you draft this Matthew Pavlich guy. Trust me, he will pan out. You start off the new millennium with a bang. If by bang you mean a completely forgettable 8-14 campaign. At least Paul Halsbury won the Rising Star Award. Oh yeah, and remember the compensation pick in 1994 that you gave to Essendon? Well, they turned that pick into Matthew Lloyd. He's now a Coleman winner with Essendon, who have completed their evolution from the Baby Bombers to the Speed Monster Bombers. And because of him kicking 100 goals and a few other guys, they go on to win 21 of their 22 games in the regular season, and the grand final goes to show how small actions lead to giant consequences. And now things have gone off the rail. All the bad decisions have culminated in your club losing 9 straight games in a row. Damian Drummond, for his poor Drummond, is sacked from the club. And your club is doing so badly you don't even tell him he's fired. In fact, he doesn't even find out he was sacked until the media tells him about the sacking. Now that is stupidity if I ever saw it. The second half is pretty bad as well. You don't win a game until round 18 and you finish with a 2-20 record. Well, at least things can't get any worse from here. Turns out I was wrong. Yes, even with the disaster of a season behind you, you still act like a fucking idiot. It's 2001. This draft is a literal super draft. You could pick any player you want. Well, except Gary Ablett Jr. because father-son rule. And any of them could lead to big success. Unfortunately, Matthew Pavlich could leave you and return to Adelaide. You also haven't hired a head coach, so CEO Cameron Schraub is in charge despite him only being recently hired. And he sees 2 Hawthorn players he sees as leading the club forward, Trent Card and Luke McFarlane. And in a giant panic move, he pulls out the nuclear option and trades away the first overall pick to the Hawks, and also pick 20 and 36. Which means now Hawthorn gets the selection of Luke Hodge to an already expanding lineup. This will certainly come back to bite you in the ass someday, Fremantle. Mark my word. Also, you hired this Chris Connolly guy from Hawthorn, just to make the new players feel welcomed. And you draft this Graham Pollock fellow at number 4. Well, maybe you should add this Aaron Sandiles guy to your team. He's quite turned and will almost certainly be of help. That help doesn't show up this year. You finish 9 and 13 and don't make noise. Except for Pavlich, who decides not to go back to Adelaide and becomes the first player in your squad to make the All-Australian team. The good news is that Carlton broke the salary cap and you have the 3rd selection. Oh, wait, you traded it to Brisbane, who are the reigning premiers.
Why are you like this?
Congratulations, Fremantle! You finally put together a winning season for once. You go 14 and 8 and finish 5th on the ladder. Better yet, you're playing the Boomer Bombers, an older version of the squad from 2000. This should be easy as pie. And the Bombers decides to pull a World War II reference and they blitz you by 54 points. You lost to an 8th seed. At least things can't get much worse, right? Turns out losing to the Bombers isn't the worst thing in the world. I do know you're pissed at not getting Luke Hodge, but what about the other 2 picks? Well, number 20 did seriously nothing. Number 36 turned into Sam Mitchell, who has won the Rising Star Award for this year. Okay, now things can't get worse. Oh wait, there's breaking news. What is this? Oh shit. Turns out things can get worse. Trent Card has been feeling homesick from Melbourne and wants to return back to Victoria. As a result, you listen to him and trains him back to as if there wasn't enough proof that your club is run by monkeys. On the bright side, you do have the 10th pick of the draft, in which you spent on absolute jack shit and Riley Dunn. Meh, just get this David Mundy guy. You'll be fine. You get off to a good start and have a chance to return to finals. You lost 3 straight and now only have 1 game against St Kilda to make the 8. Don't waste it. Oh, sorry, did I forget to mention that St Kilda are actually really fucking good? They belt your ass by 39 points. Worse yet, Essendon is playing the Bulldogs, who just so happen to be shit. Those evil Boomer Bombers, they sneak into the finals because of your choke, and they win another finals game. You managed to put together another good year and have a chance to make the finals again. The bad news is that Port Adelaide is also in the hunt, and they are playing you in round 22. Surely you won't repeat what happened last year. You repeat what happened last year and get belted by 45 points. Now Port Adelaide makes the finals over you. If you don't like it, please ask the umpire if you'd like another shot. Although keep in mind they will tell Port as well, and they will accept the fact that they won the game. And also another finals game, as a matter of fact. Oh my god, you are so toxic that the umpires forgot the siren had gone and St Kilda got another point. The umpires are screwing you up. It's all over, man, it's all... You actually protested the decision and won.
How about that?
Other than extremely shitty umpiring, you actually get a good season and don't choke it away. You are 15-7 and make the top 4 with your big brother. You have a chance to make history. Unfortunately, you run into Andrew McLeod and the Crows. You do well for the first 3 quarters, then your team gets a 4-4 error screen in the final quarter and loses. One positive, at least it wasn't an elimination final. Bounce back against the Demons and all of a sudden you're 1 game away from a grand final. A game against your older brother is in reach. But the Swansons stole a brick wall and you lose by 35 points. And to make things more painful, the West Coast Eagles won another grand final in the sporting equivalent of Toy Story 2. A sequel just as good as the original. But hey, there's always next year. Actually, scratch that, you're mediocre again. You finished 10-12 and Chris Connolly fucks off in the middle of the year. Just replace him with Mark Harvey. He'll be fine. Apparently not. You're back to being bad again and you finished 6-16. But Ray's Palmer might have some talent in him. Spoiler alert, he doesn't. Oh, sorry to make things worse, but Sam Rutschel has led Hawthorn to a grand final victory. Luke Hodge is awarded the Norm Smith Medal and wait, is that Trent Codd?
Yeah!
You actually get players that can help you. Stephen Hill at number 3, Hayden Ballantyne at 21, and Malcolm Walters at 53. 2 bad rookies don't make an immediate impact. You go 6-16 again. And in a new low, you score only 1 goal and 7 behinds in a game.
Well, that was fucking dreadful.
This is normally the part where you get the 3rd overall pick and trade it away. The good news is that your club doesn't trade away their highest pick. The bad news is that the Melbourne Demons decided to play Trust the Process Simulator and tank. As a result, they get the first 2 picks and you miss out on Dustin Martin. You better hope Anthony Morabito is better than him. Also, who is this 9th and 5th guy you drafted 20th overall? A secret tool to help you later? Okay. A new decade means a new Fremantle, and that couldn't be further from the truth. You finish 13-9 and make the finals again. Heck, you even beat that Hawthorn squad you gave all those picks to a decade ago in the elimination final. The bad news is that you don't actually have the right to beat Hawthorn in a final. Geelong does. Talk about giving away 484 disposals in a game. You're doing a good job like last year. You're 9-8 though, and your next game is against your big brother West Coast. Oh my god, you're just 1 kick away from being West Coast. All you need is for Hayden Ballantyne to hit the winning goal after the siren.
52 meters out, it's online, it's there, it's
Ah, man, I heard of people missing a kick after the siren, but it's another thing entirely to hit the post despite being so close to the goal. If only he had kicked it 3 feet to the left. This is gotta hurt. Oh, come on, when I said the loss was going to hurt, I didn't mean you all get injured. As a result of your injuries, you lose your last 7 games and miss the finals. Mark Harvey managed to sail his ship through a massive amount of injuries this year. Unfortunately, that was enough for the board to sack him. As a replacement, they looked to the east to the man who made St Kilda really good. Like the Cold War, Ross Lawn defects from the east and moves to the west. He's now your head coach. He manages to revive you and takes you on a 14-8 campaign. The bad news is that you're 7th and have to play to Geelong Cats again. I don't mean to alarm you, but you're doomed. You actually managed to beat them despite a 4th quarter comeback? Well, I'll be damned. Maybe you can win the cup after all. That dream is slowly dashed as you lose to the Crows in the semi-final. One positive though, you didn't lose to that Andrew McLeod guy. You make consecutive finals for the first time in your club's history. Good job, only took you 18 years. You actually managed to beat the higher placed Cats in the qualifying to make it all the way to the preliminary. and now you have beaten the Sydney Swans. Congratulations, you're on your way to a grand final. All you need to do is beat the mighty Hawks, i.e. the Hawks you gave away a lot of picks to in 2001. Oh dear lord, you are terrible at this! You actually managed to figure out how this grand final thing works, but it comes too late and you lose to the Hawks by 15. Now this is just me reminding you that this would have never happened if you didn't trade away the first pick in 2001. You finish in the top 4 again, and in the first round of the finals you play Sydney. They are not happy that you robbed them of a grand final last year and are now coming back to kick your ass. Don't worry, you can just beat Port Adelaide and recover. You instead blow a decent halftime lead to go down by 22. As if that wasn't bad enough, the Hawks win another grand final, and Luke Hodge wins the Norm Smith medal again. And again, this would have never happened if you didn't trade away the first pick in 2001. Okay, surely this is the year you get it done. You're the minor premiers with a 17-5 record. Not 5 wins the Brownlow. You beat the Swans in the qualifying final. One more game and you're back to the big one. Better yet, your big brother is getting close as well. A Western Derby Grand Final awaits. What do you mean you get kicked in the balls by the Hawks? Not 5 got injured in the game? God damn it. And now the Hawks have won 3 cups in a row. And once again, this would have never happened if you didn't trade away the first pick. And what's that? You still would have taken Graham Pollock number 1? Dude, that guy was a disaster. Oh well, at least there's next year. I'll take that back. You start 0-4, then Nat 5s get hurt, and then your entire team just self-implodes. You lose your first 11 games and end the year with a 4-18 record, and have the single biggest drop-off in league history. But you don't get the wooden spoon because Brisbane is terrible and Essendon overdosed itself. Congratulations! You have officially wasted the career of Matthew Pavlich. Shame you couldn't win him a cup. He probably would have won one in Adelaide. At least you got the third pick to replace him. Oh wait, you traded it to GWS. Well, at least they're kind enough to trade it to Brisbane for pick 2. Yeah, those drafting issues are back. But hey, you might say it's only a bad fluke, right? Turns out it isn't. You get sent back to mediocrity with an 8-14 record. Oh, and remember that Dustin Martin guy you were robbed back in 2009? Well, he had the best player season in AFL history, and he won Richmond a premiership and won the Norm Smith medal, just to nail the point that life is unfair to you. Thankfully, you realized that 2016 was the beginning of a rebuild and trade with Gold Coast for pick 2, which turned out to be Andrew Bradshaw. But nothing changes and you finish 8-14 again. Oh, and your Break River just won another premiership. Hey, at least give them some credit. They at least delayed the entire country from committing seppuku again for another 5 years. Okay, so you only have the 5th pick in a 5th round due to all the trades in this draft. I'd call it pathetic, but then again, you did trade away the first pick in 2001 for no reason. Worse yet, Lachie Neale wants Arthur and wants to go to Brisbane. Brisbane is offering you the 6th pick, so just think of what you could do with that. You could draft Connor Ramsey, Ben King, Bailey Smith. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes, it turns out Jesse Hogan wants to be a part of your club after you courted him for years. Sure, he might have off-the-field issues, but he could be the next Matthew Pavlich, so you trade pick 6 to the Demons for him. A Melbourne player with massive potential, but hasn't shown the potential, is traded from Melbourne to Fremantle. Wait a minute, is he gonna end up like Colin Sylvia, right?
Former teammates have remembered former AFL star Colin Sylvia as a footy powerhouse who struggled off the field.
I have a bad feeling about this. Turns out I'm right. Who knew a guy with off-the-field issues would have off-the-field issues? Other than that, you only improved by 1 win. Too bad this isn't enough to keep Ross Lundy's job and he's told to get the fuck out. With 1 game left in the season. You couldn't have sacked him till after the season? The only bright spots is that 95 won another Brownlow and Melbourne somehow did worse than you. Oh, and Richmond has won another grand final. Not only that, but someone was playing their first game in that grand final. If that is not secondhand embarrassment, I don't know what is. Also, Dustin Martin won the Norm Smith medal. Again. It doesn't get better from here. A whole bunch of players from the 2013 grand final are retiring and you need a new head coach. Justin Longmire has been doing a good job at the Devil's Playhouse in Collingwood. And he's a former Fremantle player. He is now your new head coach for your team. With this boost of confidence, you proceed to go on a heavy shopping spree. You draft 3 picks in a row in this draft, including this Caleb Sarong guy. A new decade means a new Fremantle, or as fans like to call it, Flagmantle. Too bad their team can't do shit and you finish 7 and 10. At least Caleb Sarong won the Rising Star this year, but I don't know if he was that good or Matt Rauch and just boosted his chances. Well, it turns out trading Lucky Neal wasn't the best idea in the world. He turns the fortunes of the Lions around and he wins the Brownlow. And Richmond has won another flag, again. And Dustin Martin won the Norm Smith Medal, again. And what about Jesse Hogan, you might ask? Well, you ruined him. He now completely sucks and he wants out of here. You trade him to GVR Hess and that is that. The cancer is out Fremantle. Good riddance.
I wish I never asked you to be in my band. I wish I never agreed to be in it.
Your club seems to be sailing smoothly, but it's not enough to make finals as you finish 10 and 12. You're again 1 game away from making the finals, only to fall short to the Saints. But the Bombers had a higher percentage than you, so it probably didn't really matter all that much. Also, Stephen Hill retired. Congratulations! Your club is in finals contention again with a 15-win season. A finals win is certainly in grasp. How the hell are you losing to the Bulldogs? They only got in because Carlton choked on shit! Oh, you actually came back. Good. Now you get to play the Collingwood Magpies. Wait a minute, they finished second last the previous year. How are they already back in grand final contention?
Dacos, famous name, famous number, famous club.
You're shitting me. Turns out Collingwood got a new weapon in Nick Dacos, and he has somehow turned the club's fortune around in just his first year. He saws your boat in half in the semi-final, and you don't have any flex tape to fix it. Your boat sinks and David Mundy goes down with the ship. You wasted another talented player, eh? Well, if your 2022 Flagmantle ship was the Olympic, your 2023 ship is the Principessa Mafalda. It does hardly anything and then sinks before it can get to the finals with a 10 and 13 campaign. At least Caleb Sarong has proven himself to be the club's new best player. That doesn't stop Lucky Neal from winning another Brownlow medal, though. Your club has 50 points and is 1 game away from clinching finals. How about you beat Essendon?
After Durham, he must score. He will score. And behind.
Okay, never mind. How about, wait a minute, it's a good Geelong, just skip that one. Also the GWS one is, wait a minute, why the fuck is Jesse Hogan leading the Coleman medal race? Huh, who knew you could fix a person with off-the-field issues? Okay, so St Kilda has to beat Carlton to keep your season alive. You're playing Port Adelaide, who have already qualified, but they may or may not rest their starters. Carlton may be injured as shit, but St Kilda really does need some luck. There is only a minute left in the game, and they need a miracle to win.
Jones, they keep it moving. Higgins step. It's bending back. It's a goal.
Well, it turns out the Saints have offered a lifeline. Every Docker fan is celebrating. Surely you can't lose to Port.
And the team in Teal have been on a tear. Port power into the top 2 as Freo falter at the finish.
I mean, to be fair, Brisbane will have kicked your ass anyway. Just hand the lifeline off to Carlton and move on. Oh, and speaking of Brisbane, they just won the flag. Lucky Neal is now a premiership winning player. Okay, you have 15 wins and you are on the grasp of finishing in the top 4. All you have to do is beat the Brisbane Lions. Okay, never mind, you were dead from the moment I said it, but oh no. It seems like too many teams are actually good this year. The top 9 have 14 wins or more, and 60 points may not be enough to get you into finals. So here's the deal, if you can beat the Bulldogs, then you can make the finals. If you don't, then you better hope Gold Coast loses to Port Adelaide. Huh, that actually happened? Well, I would say that's a good thing, but we need to go back to March. You see, Gold Coast was supposed to play Essendon on March the 8th. Unfortunately, God decided to be a cruel bastard and send in Cyclone Alfred to postpone the game till the end of the year. That's right, Gold Coast gets an extra life because of the weather. So now there is no excuse to lose under the Bulldogs. You have to win! It's the biggest never comeback in your life. Night 5 will willingly sacrifice himself for a premiership cup. The Scouts have found their weakness. Do it, Fremantle. This time, the legacy of not making the finals in the final round shall end here. Because if you don't, those Bombers that are injured the hell won't stand a chance against the Suns. The Suns, I tell you, they have never made a final in their entire life. Wait a minute, you didn't choke the game away? You actually won? Holy shit, now watch the Bulldogs get knocked out by the Suns. See? What did I tell ya? The Suns destroyed the fucked up Bombers by 95 points and head to their first finals game. The bad news is that you're the one that has to play them. Surely you won't lose to a team playing their first final game. You're losing to a team playing their first final game. Come on, that is pathetic. You're actually coming back. Holy hell, you're actually in the lead. And you might win this game. Surely you won't choke this away.
What's he got, McAndrew? It's there. It is there.
No problem. Just head to overtime and you can beat them there. No big problem.
Swallow taken.
Fremantle? What did you do? You gave Gold Coast the chance to win? It's bad enough that the cycle of Gold Coast missing the final ended, and now you're gonna give them a win? Worst of all, it's being kicked by the guy who has been with the club since day one. You're gonna drive yourself off a cliff! It's all over, dude! It's all over!
Swallow is kicked. On the doorstep. Siren sounds. History made. 15 years it took for the Gold Coast to get here, and they have won an almighty elimination final.
The legacy of failure has been sealed. You lost to the Gold Coast Suns in their first finals game. Nat 5's career has been officially wasted. Oh, and Brisbane has won another flag with Lachie Neale, albeit as a sub, but still. Yeah, it's safe to say that Fremantle has a long list of failures in their existence. What from blowing the opportunity to get several good players, choking away leads in finals, and overall being the most mediocre squad to ever play the game. And do you want to know the worst part about this? They are the only Western Australian squad that could actually compete for a cup next year. The West Coast Eagles are fucking terrible, and I don't see them getting any better in the future. Trading away pick 3 in 2024 has backfired for them horribly, even if Jagger Smith got fucked up before he could start. But as for Fremantle, all I have to say is this. Have fun in the future. You have players to make it to the finals next year, and your big brother West Coast is fucking terrible. Plus, you have the current Rising Star winner on your squad, and he could be successful. I expect a cup from you in 10 years' time.
Again, the tempers are flying. So the players are very, very aggressive. Oh, Day will kick it. It's just thrown a couple. Look at this, Dennis. This is not good.